Hi everybody, it's Tom from FindTheBestCarPrice.com. Today we're going to look at the 2022 Volvo XC40. This is the T5R design all-wheel drive model we're going to take a look at. It has a sticker price of $45,930. The exterior color is Thunder Gray, and we'll take a quick look into the interior so I can show you the charcoal interior. I like the way this looks. It has the white contrast stitching that really sets this off nicely. At all four corners you will find the 245/45 tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels. That's part of the R design package to upgrade from 19 inches to 20 inches. On the front end you're going to find LED headlights. Of course you'll have the daytime running lights and the LED fog lights. I hope you can see that okay on the screen since it is a nice bright sunny day. And taking a quick look at the remote, all of the buttons for controlling functionality are located on the side of the remote. And just to show you the power folding side view mirrors with the turn signal indicators built in, we'll hit that button. And let's take a quick look at what is under the hood. This is going to be the 2-liter turbocharged direct injection 4-cylinder. It makes 248 horsepower and 258 pounds-feet of torque. Power makes its way through an 8-speed automatic transmission, ultimately to the ground through all-wheel drive. MPGs come in at 22 city, 30 on the highway, a combined total of 25. And Volvo says per every 100 miles you drive your Volvo XC40, you should use 4 gallons of gas. I must admit, I have never seen anybody actually towing anything with a Volvo XC40, but this particular model, max towing numbers come in at 3,500 pounds in case you wanted to know. Now a little more practical, let's talk about cargo numbers, and we will open the rear cargo area with the hands-free function. Numbers start at 16 cubic feet. There are a couple of different things you can do here, so let's show you exactly what that is. You can use the pass-through right here, or if you want to maximize cargo space, you can go right here on each side of the seats and lower these 60-40 split rear seats, maximizing cargo numbers to 46.9 cubic feet. And just to take a quick look here, you do have a very nice panoramic sunroof that rear passengers can enjoy a little bit more than the front seat passenger and driver. And taking a quick look into the rear seat area, take a quick look at the door bins. Not a very large door bin, but enough to be able to put a drink in there, a large bottle. We'll hop in here and hopefully avoid some of the noise from the blower that's being run next door. There are the map pockets, or really more of a map net more than anything else. And I'll bring down the cup holder and the armrest cup holders built into the armrest, just so you can see that. Air conditioning vents right here. And then you also have the dual USB ports, only 2 back here. So if the third passenger in the rear area doesn't get there fast enough, they're just out of luck on USB ports. If you're saying to yourself, those door bins on the rear doors are not big enough, you better call Shotgun, because that's the only way you're going to get a larger door bin. They are much larger here in the front seat area. Driver and passenger seats are both power and heated. There is one thing that you will find on both seats that is not power, and that's going to be the extension right here, depending on where you want that to be. Take a quick look at what's in here as far as space goes for the glove box. And underneath this area, I can't probably give you a really good view of it, but there is a slot under here where you can hide business cards. Some people even say a credit card. I don't know that I would recommend that, but you could. Here is a look into the center console, and this is meant to be a trash can. You could use that for anything you want to put in there, or you can just leave it out and increase the available space just a little bit, but it can be done. There is a second option. If you want that larger door bin, you could just tell the driver that they're riding shotgun. Well, then you might not be riding at all, so maybe you shouldn't do that. Not a lot of differences here on the driver's side door panel. Probably don't need to tell you about any of that, but one thing I do want to point out is you have 2 settings for seat memory right here. Going to have some more functionality here for controlling the power tailgate, and a couple more slots for business cards or whatever you want to put in there that will fit. And a bit of a sporty look on the pedals right there. The steering wheel is adjustable tilt and telescopically. It's not power adjustable, manually adjustable, but it's nice to know that it is. and I will let everything come up here, show you what's on the instrument cluster as far as the graphics go. A nice modern look. And we will take a quick look at the steering wheel mounted controls, everything for the adaptive cruise control right here, voice commands, and you can run through a lot of different features there on the dashboard. But there is something I want to show you right there. If you aren't familiar with these Volvo models, well, now you know. Not only do you have the navigation built into the vehicle, you can also bring it up right there on the dashboard. The one place where people tend to knock these Volvo models is right here, the infotainment screen. It's a 9-inch screen, fairly large screen, but people say it's hard to use and hard to get used to. I don't drive one of these models every single day, so I can't necessarily say that is the case for me, but it is what it is. And one thing, while we're looking at the screen right here, let me just go down here. There's your shifter, everything easy to figure out what's what here. There's no option to turn off the auto stop start feature. You may have already seen it because it's up here on the screen. The one thing I would like to see Volvo do is move the controls for the air conditioning to physical buttons down here somewhere. Maybe we'll see that in the future. Tell me down in the comments what your preference is. And I like the fact that even though you can go into reverse and see the rear view camera and multiple camera options, you don't have to be in reverse. If you're just wanting to see what's going on around you for whatever reason, you can hit that option right there. You can zoom in if you need to, but I really like the 360-degree view camera. So if I'm turning or backing out of a space, I should say, and wondering if there's something on this side. Some of us have had that problem where we backed out and hit something we didn't realize was over there. Well, you can see it from this view, and let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Now, we'll go back to the 360-degree view camera. You can do that obviously at basically all 4 corners. I probably don't need to show you anything else about that. Pretty simple to figure out. And then you've got some one-touch buttons here for defrosters, your hazard lights, and controlling the radio. Also down here, more connectivity with the 12-volt power outlet, a couple of USB ports, and wireless charging. Everything, again, easy to figure out. One thing I do want to make a point on here, though, is that this shifter, you have to move it twice to get it to go into whatever you're going into, drive, into reverse. Let me just show you on the dashboard. It's the easiest way to do it. So I'm just going to hit it one time. What happens? It goes into neutral. Hit it a second time, it goes into reverse. The same thing to go into drive. So just so you can see what's here and how all of that works before we hop out on the road for our test drive. Okay, we're out on the road for our test drive. I hope you like the angle of the camera. I like to try and mount it in that area when we have a panoramic sunroof or even a conventional size, just to try and give you the best view possible. You can see what's going on with the dashboard and still have a decent view out of the windshield. I hope that's good for you, where you don't have to feel like you need to duck your head down to see under the windshield. But tell me what you think, and maybe we can keep doing that on a regular basis when possible. The one thing that I think a lot of people, or maybe 2 things people are going to ask about, is number 1, ride quality, which I have found to be very good in this XC40. Typically a shorter wheelbase vehicle like this, and when I talk about wheelbase, what do I mean? The center of one tire to the center of the other. That is what's called wheelbase. It's not the overall length of the vehicle, in case you were wondering, but also the size of the vehicle overall. Being a smaller SUV such as this, a lot of the time these vehicles tend to naturally have a choppy ride. That is not what I found to be the case here. It goes back to something I say quite often, which is the fact that you really need to get out and drive for yourself, because I can give you my own feedback, but you've got to keep in mind, I'm really ultimately, no matter how hard I try not to, filtering that through what I'm used to driving on a daily basis. And so it's kind of hard to say, just take my word for it. You need to drive these vehicles for yourself. But the ride quality is good and the acceleration is good. I can already hear people typing into the comments section saying 248 horsepower is not enough. Well, tell me why you think that if you do. I'm always curious to see why everybody has the feedback that they do. I'm not saying that that's necessarily wrong. I don't think more horsepower is ever a bad thing, but as far as my experience here, I think we're doing just fine. So when you combine good ride quality with a good amount of acceleration capabilities, I think the XC40 does a very good job. And something that I like here also, very easy to get around, very nimble in its agility to get around town, to maneuver into smaller spaces. If you live in an area where the parking is very tight, obviously you know how challenging that can be in a larger vehicle, say a full-size SUV such as a Suburban or a Tahoe or something along those lines. So that's where something like this comes in handy if it's something that will meet your needs. And ultimately, comfortable steering wheel, it's leather wrapped, very responsive. The vehicle handles great. It's not a high performance vehicle, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't still have some solid handling capabilities when it comes to getting down the road. Maybe even a little bit of a sporty feel would be the way that I would put it. But I'm not saying that the XC40 is a sports SUV. Still, you can have as much fun as you want, and if you want the ultimate in acceleration, well, this obviously isn't the place to go. The XC40 Pure Electric will give you that, even though, well, 4.7 seconds is what Volvo says the XC40 Pure Electric will do. I actually pulled it off in 4.4 seconds. Not that you can tell a difference in 0.3 of a second, but it is what it is in the interest of fair reporting. But overall, everything here, user-friendly, even though I know a lot of people are going to say that the infotainment screen is anything but user-friendly. Well, everyone's going to have their varying opinions on that, being that, again, it goes back to the fact that I'm not going to drive this all day, every day. I don't own an XC40 personally. If I did, maybe I would say something different than what I do about the center screen. But after I've featured enough of these vehicles on the YouTube channels where I post videos, I've found it to be really no problem to use, other than the fact that I would like to see some physical buttons for the air conditioning system. Again, feedback. What do you think? Would you like to see that change when there's a full redesign of these XC40s?
To learn more about the model in today's video, visit the link in the description for a detailed comparison between trims and pricing for the vehicle we featured or any vehicle you may be interested in. These pages feature information such as our recommended trim level based on price, value, and features. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. We look forward to seeing you next time.